We have big news coming in, and ladies and gentlemen, on the Newshour tonight, we have an action-packed show for you because there is action that's happening. Pakistan's deranged fantasies, as it was referred to by Vikram Misri, Foreign Secretary today, these are being crushed with the iron fist of Bharat. While Prime Minister Modi has armed India with a state-of-the-art Suraksha Kavach, Pakistan only has cowardice, deceit and China ka mal in its arsenal. While Modi is roaring like a sher, Pakistan's own legislators say that Pakistan Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif is a coward or geether. These are the cowards who are too scared to fight our braves at the borders and instead target unarmed civilians. We will tell you how all of this has taken place. Pakistan has been punished. Every move of Pakistan has been responded to. We will tell you how Bharat has responded with an iron fist and punished Pakistan for its misadventures at the border. But first, let's take a quick look at the top developments taking place at this hour. Well, a high-level meeting has just ended at the Prime Minister's residence. That meeting was attended by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, 3 service chiefs and the Chief of Defence Services, CDS, all present at that meeting. You see all the chiefs sitting in combat uniform there. The body language extremely confident as well as totally businesslike. Professional with a mission in mind. Also news coming in at this moment from Jammu and Poonch. From here we know blackouts have been enforced in Jammu and Poonch. We also hear that there is heavy shelling that has been heard in Poonch. In Jammu also heavy firing across the LOC. Omar Abdullah, Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, from an undisclosed location has said that from where he is, he can hear heavy firing and artillery exchange at the borders. Jammu also saw a drone attack that has been neutralized. That's the information that's coming in. Again, big development number 3, the UAV. A UAV has been spotted in Jammu. Explosions have been heard. We're still trying to get details of what these explosions were. Is this UAV now neutralized? We'll get you more of that in just a bit. Also, what we are hearing is the air defense systems in Jammu and around the border, around the LOC, have been activated in the northern area from Samba to Jammu to Poonch, where heavy firing is going on. Sirens have also been heard near the Jammu airport. Has there been another attempt to try and target the Jammu airport as was done yesterday? UAVs have also been spotted in Firozpur and Amritsar. Amritsar coming again and again in a target. Jammu coming again and again in a target. And Nankana Sahib being called as an attack point by India. That's what Pakistan is trying to say. Well, all of these interrelated issues, we'll come to that in just a bit, but unprovoked firing also being seen at the international border. Big news coming in at this moment also that Pakistan projectiles have been spotted in Pokhran in Jaisalmer district even as we speak. Watch these visuals that have just been sent to us by our reporters. Look at those visuals there. Those visuals coming in from Pokhran, and those visuals giving you a sense of how Pakistan and its misadventures continue this evening as well. My colleagues joining me from across their locations, Tejashri, Priyank Tripathi, also joining me is Pradeep Datta, Rishabh with us. Going across to Tejashri first in Jammu, where there is a blackout. And Tejashri, UAV spotted, drone spotted, shelling can be heard is what we are hearing. What are the details that you have?
Tejashri, can you hear me?
Well, there's chaos.
There it is.
Okay. Can we see something? Can we pan our cameras there? Okay, you heard that shot being fired. You heard a blast of sorts. Okay, we'll try and go across to Tejshri there. Priyank Tripathi, what is the situation in Srinagar? What are you hearing?
See, Navika, today the blackout has not been, it's not there in Srinagar, but certainly the firing and the shelling has started in the Uri sector as well as in Kupwara. These are the two areas which lies in the Kashmir Valley. And on the other side, what we are getting to know that there have been multiple tear shells which have been, and the drone attack which is suspected to be happening in the other areas like Rajouri, in Majakote, and then we have in Punch, where the visuals have also been clearly showing that a swarm of drones have been spotted. Then in Jaisalmer, where the drones have been spotted. In Kathua too, the UAVs has been spotted around 20 to 25 minutes back. What we are also getting to know that in Firozpur, in Punjab, they have been drones which have been spotted in Samba sector. 5 blasts have been heard in Pathankot, which means that the UAVs has been intercepted by the anti-drone system in India. In Akhnoor sector, where we are also getting information that visuals are clearly showing that drones have been attacked. Then Pathankot, Jalandhar, and multiple areas of Samba, Firozpur, Punjab. So this is the kind of situation which is still studied there. But Navika, if you look at this last word of the Foreign Secretary, he clearly said that we have given reply to whatever has happened. So we have already given its reply. So Indian government has made their point very much clear that the reply has been given to Pakistan. They attempted to enter in our territory. We have given them a reply. But Pakistan is once again escalating this thing.
Breaking news coming in at this point. Pathankot, we understand also some unidentified objects have been heard there and spotted there. We're still trying to get details of what really is happening in Pathankot, whether it was a UAV, a drone, a missile. We're trying to get more details, but we do have Pavit live from Pathankot. And Pavit, what can you tell us what's happening in Pathankot?
Exactly, Navika. So we have had around 10 to 12 explosions back to back that have taken place in Pathankot. There is a complete blackout in the area. Even a few minutes from now, there was an air raid siren which was going around. Even police was here. They were making announcements to vacate the area, to shut down the lights, because some of the houses were there whose light was still on. So continuously there were blasts, there were explosions. According to the sources, it is being said that there were few drones and there were few UAVs which were fired by the Pakistani forces, and right now they are targeting the Pathankot area basically. So in the visuals also you can see that there is a complete blackout in the area, but the explosions are taking place in after an interval. Just couple of minutes back, there were around 10 to 12 explosions that took place in Pathankot area. These are the visuals that we are getting from the Pathankot. This is the epicenter of the Pathankot where we are standing right now, and you can see that there is complete blackout in the city, but there the explosions are taking place after an interval again and again. Before that, before these 10 to 12 explosions, there were around 5 explosions which took place. Before that, there were 2 and 3 UAVs which were spotted, but which were neutralized. But right now also the explosions are going on. The drones are coming. The missiles are being shot by the Pakistanis, but our air defense systems are active and they are neutralizing everything which is coming to this Indian territory.
Thanks, Pavit. We will keep coming back to you, but Pathankot, 10 or 12 explosions have been heard, and once again, is Pathankot on target? Well, big breaking news coming in. Are we going to see a repeat of yesterday? Joining me tonight on the show, Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadoria, former Chief of Air Staff. Also joining me this evening, Vice Admiral Ajendra Bahadur Singh, former Commander-in-Chief of the Western Naval Command. Major Gaurav Arya joins the Newshour. Mr. G. Parthasarthy, former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan, knows Pakistan and their DNA like the back of his hand. Also joining me this evening, Dr. Anand Ranganathan and Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Senior Fellow at the IPCS. First, let's go straight across how Jinnah's land using their civilians as human shields. And this was disclosed. Their attack carries on today. Yesterday, what we can tell you is, and Gaurav Arya, if I can call you to this location, this is where there were civilian planes that were actually used as shields by Pakistan. Is this normal? This was shown by Colonel Qureshi today, these pictures, the flight paths, civilian planes and the Pakistani Air Force planes going with them. Normal, or is this once again subterfuge and bad offense strategy by Pakistan?
Well, this is no strategy. I'd just like to say, Navika, that any professional Air Force would not do it, but here the operative word is professional. So, typical Hamas strategy, where you put your guns in highly populated areas and you fire at the Israelis. When the Israelis fire back, you play victim, and this is that classical case in front of you. When fighter jets are deployed, and we have the former Air Chief Marshal Anil bear me out, they take great care, at least the Indian Air Force takes great care that enough distance is maintained, enough altitude is maintained, and all those parameters, the technicalities are maintained so that, a commercial aircraft is not endangered in any way. But this attempt here is actually, what they want to do, hide in the shadow of a commercial aircraft. And if India hits them with a missile, or that's what they think, and if it gets to hit the commercial aircraft, then Pakistan can go to the world and play victim and say, hey, the Indians are killing babies. That's what they're saying.
Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadoria, I want to ask you, is this normal, or is this just the tactics that Pakistan uses? Does this become difficult then for our defense systems to operate when there is an attack? 400 drones being sent across, 36 places targeted, and then you have Air Force planes of Pakistan which are shielded by the civilian planes. How do we react in such a situation?
Firstly, it's not normal at all. Absolutely. We would never do it. And you are aware that today instructions have been given. All the airports close to LOC or IB have been closed for civil traffic. That's how you have to anticipate these kind of situations and act in advance. So we have made sure that no such activity, a civilian aircraft with passengers, even by mistake, will not come into the area where he can get threatened. Forget about our fighters going in the shadow of detection shadow of a civil airline. They've done it. Obviously, it shows their desperation, how far they can go. And like Gaurav mentioned, they're probably looking for S-400 kind of attack, mistaking it for a fighter, because initially the fighter blip would have got picked up, and creating a situation. They are not aware that our air defense system is quite well established to distinguish these kind of activities, and I'm sure they would have done the needful and shown restraint.
Well, I really don't get this. The fact that we closed our airspace, 24 of our airports in the north, another NOTAM has been issued today, extending the closure till the 15th of May, and they have their airspace open, hiding behind the civilian planes. Is this normal war strategy, if I were to ask you that, Vice Admiral Ajendra Bahadur Singh?
So I don't think this is any kind of a normal strategy which anybody would adopt. But this is a special case, and we can expect actually the Pakis to take shelter behind all these civilian aircraft. And if you look at even the strikes and the entire camps which are there, which have been struck by the Indian side, they are all located in civil population areas. So they follow, as brought out earlier, they clearly follow the Hamas strategy, hide behind the civilian population and take shelter as much as possible.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. But, you know, you have the airspace open, civilian planes flying, you're sending 400 drones, Turkish-made drones across the border, and then you want to play the victim card. How does it work like that, Mr. Parthasarthy?
Firstly, let me tell you, the Pakistan Army under General Asim Munir is one fated for deep problems. He himself is immature, rabidly anti-Indian, whereas Pakistan Army chiefs have spoken to everybody from General Bajwa to Musharraf. They have a certain sense of dignity. For the first time, I'm seeing a Pakistan Army chief who lacks dignity, and especially when talking to Indians. I mean, we have a service chiefs here. When they meet their Pakistani counterparts, yes, we are adversaries, but it's certainly relaxed. Asif Munir is unfit, and if you ask me, he's our greatest asset, point number one. Point number two, the fact of the matter is, they are in deep economic problems. It's an economic growth rate of between 1 and 2%. And that too coming from begging bowls sent to everyone from the Arabs to the West. They are in a deep problem internally. That is the problem you're dealing with. As I said, Munir is the one who's the so-called self-imposed mastermind who has led this country to this position. I don't think many like it, but I leave it to the service chiefs who are much better placed than I. Pakistan today, the Americans have turned their backs on them. Trump looks the other way. The neighbors from the Gulf countries are with us. So they are in a deep diplomatic morass. We have now to take advantage of that. A failing economy, diminishing and almost finishing foreign exchange reserves. Asim Munir has led his country to disaster. How it plays, we will watch and see, but they are not going to get international support. Trump has told us very clearly, go ahead and do what you want to do. The Brits are, like always, sitting on both sides of the fence. But by and large, the Russians are fully behind us. Chinese support will continue. And one thing you should never forget, Chinese support to Pakistan is very deep. Pakistan's nuclear weapons program is entirely Chinese, including the missiles. So this is, as I said,
and we'll give you a look of what the Chinese missiles really did. But India's joint briefing has revealed that the extent of Pakistan's subterfuge. Hiding in the shadows, Pakistan fired about 400 Turkish Asisgard Songar drones. On their targets were 36 civilian areas of India. While most of them were for surveillance, many of them were armed. India's air defense Kavach, however, actively neutralized many of these drones and prevented any casualties overnight. You can see the visuals of the night sky being lit up with Pakistani drones being shot down. In fact, an armed UAV of Pakistan tried to target the Bhatinda military station, but it was detected and neutralized. In response, India targeted 4 air defense sites in Pakistan, blowing up the radar of one of them. Last night, after Pakistan drone and missile attack on our civilians, the air defense system at Lahore was neutralized. And I want to ask you, Major Gaurav Arya, yes. This is the Turkish drone that was used.
Yes.
We also have a missile that we got. Now, 300 of these. Yes. All of them armed, all of them neutralized.
Yes.
How does that work? Turkish drones, are they bad in the technology? Or is it just that Pakistan sent the bad quality ones to us?
No, I think our air defense has done a stellar job, and we must commend them. AD, especially in the army, doesn't get the kind of projection that it should. And today, we all realize what a fantastic job they've done, including the Air Force, everybody else. And I think this is a testament to the superior professional skills of, the Indian Armed Forces. This kind of score, I mean, the Israelis were saying hats off to you guys, because they have not been able to do it. And our airspace is far more challenging than that of Israel, because Israel is a small country and India is so large. But getting all the drones down, 100%. This is like Sachin Tendulkar batting. I mean, it can't get better than this, and they've done us proud. And I think, I wouldn't say that Turkish drones are bad or substandard. I think maybe the Pakistanis, they're learning how to use them. But above all, our air defense guys are, I never thought I would say this because I haven't seen them in action really, but these are some of the finest professionals in the world. They've done us proud.
Well, R.K.S. Bhadoria, you would know this. How much would each one of these cost? And why didn't they just fire anywhere if they were meant to do so? And how do our air defense systems actually neutralize them?
So I would say these are the lower end of the drones. It is like you mentioned for surveillance, and some of them armed. And going by the size and kind of equipment, it would be anywhere close to 15-20 odd lakhs in Indian rupees. I would put the cost somewhere there. That's why the large numbers. That's why But what we have to remember is this is the strategy of probing, the strategy of sending large numbers, strategy to for our systems to open up. They don't realize that we don't open our critical air defense systems for such targets. And basically, like the Shilka guns, the anti-aircraft guns, the counter-UAS systems, be it jamming, be it kinetic, those are the ones that used to get them down. We should remember that there would be a game plan on Pakistani side to go to the next level, wherein along with this, suddenly they would want to put in more advanced ones. They have, from all intelligence, the Turkish advanced drones, which are more capable, armed, those plus some standoff weapons. So I would say that would be their kind of strategy, that they would continue to do this and thereafter suddenly mesh it with their actual attack plan.
Let me also show you the Chinese PL-15 missile that they sent across, and this was in Firozpur. If you look at this, what does this actually tell you? Is this something that did strike us? It's a missile after all, or was this also neutralized?
I think, like you see, it's broken in between, and the blunt nose. I assume it would have had an impact fuse. That is what I'm thinking.
Please, let's go back to the earlier visual of, yes.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that it would have an impact fuse. And I think this missile, like we say in the army, it misfired. I have my seniors here. They'll be in a better position to say, but this obviously did not, this landed like a dud. That's what I'm trying to say. It landed like a dud.
Broken here?
It landed like a dud and it misfired and it's broken into two. Here, it broke in half.
Is that how it is supposed to work?
That's a good explanation. For sure, since the warhead hasn't exploded and it's broken in the center because of the impact when it hits the ground. So this is something of a missile failure, prima facie, the way it looks. Either it has been fired at longer ranges and not fired correctly, or missile itself has failed miserably and has come and hit the ground.
So is Pakistan actually costing China also? Because China would have wanted to market their weaponry. And since this is the situation in which these missiles are landing, what does this tell you about China itself and its defense systems?
Yeah, it's a window into the quality issues of Chinese weapons and missiles. There have always been this kind of assessment that some of their reliability issues are there. And Pakistan is providing the proof. I'm sure the Chinese defense minister is rather upset and dialing his counterpart and asking some serious questions.
Let me also show you visuals, ladies and gentlemen, of a bomb disposal squad that got hold of some blast explosives that were found in Amritsar field. And you can see the detonation did take place here. The detonation of the ordnance didn't take place, Mud debris were thrown off several meters away after the explosion, and there was just some thick black smoke, and even the farmers in the field are picking up these debris and walking around almost as if it's a toy. Why did Pakistan fail so miserably? Why couldn't they actually prevent India's strike on their critical terror military institutions? Listen in to the bizarre logic by Pakistan's defense minister, Khwaja Asif, who is the single biggest suicide bomber, I think, going in Pakistan, the manner in which he's run down Pakistan in so many of the recent interviews over the last 5 or 6 days. But listen to this gem coming in from Khwaja Asif earlier today in the National Assembly of Pakistan. Fantastic. And Anand Ranganathan, I want to get you in at this point. The defense minister's explanation is we didn't do anything, to counter the strikes by India yesterday and the day before because they did not want to reveal the locations of their installations and their weapon systems. Now, how credible is that and how intelligent is that? कि आपको strike हो रहा है लेकिन आप दिखाना नहीं चाहते, so you've kept your weaponry probably in a fixed deposit.
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to my fellow panelists, most of whom are exalted experts. So it's an honor and a privilege to be in this panel. Navika, Manishankar Iyer, Sarhad ke sirf is paar hi nahi hai, us paar bhi hai. But you started the entire debate with commentary on what the Pakistanis themselves are talking about their leadership. Gidar. I want to spend a couple of minutes because this we haven't discussed as yet, Navika, and I think this is as important.
We will come to that. But this gem that they didn't want to show the, weaponry and their weapon systems, how does this strike you in terms of logic, intelligence, and strategy?
It is profoundly logical because they have been ordered by China to not disclose their weapons. क्योंकि चाइना कह रही है हमने अफ्रीकन्स को कहा था हमारे बहुत अच्छे काम करते हैं, तुम मत चलाओ हमारे वेपन्स भाई. अफ्रीकन्स कह रहे हैं कैंसिल हो गए ऑर्डर्स बहुत सारे. This is the issue. No, but Navika, please understand, who are we dealing with? This is a blustering nation with no future, hardly any past, and the present that is going to be decimated because of their own doing, by the way. And as one of the experts talked about, their chief, Munir, as rabid as, it just astonishes me which school, military school has he graduated from? It is as much a remark on him and his ilk as it is on the military schools of Pakistan. I have never ever seen, and I think the good general was right, there are many terrible generals in the past, but I have never seen anyone who fits this guy's description. He is a one-off. So obviously in a country of one-offs, what else do you expect?
Absolutely. Interrupting you there, those visuals coming in from Rajouri, we are seeing some flashes, UAVs spotted in the Rajouri sector as well, and those are visuals first coming in from Rajouri, and we're looking at those visuals that are coming in from Rajouri. Drones, UAVs, call it what you will. You can also hear some sounds there. Gaurav Arya, what are these sounds?
No, I think this is the AD getting activated. This is our air defense getting activated and trying to knock out the drones, etc. from the sky. That is what you hear. So, the big platforms are not yet out. So this could be a Zoo, it could be a Shilka, it could be, we have a lot of stuff there that could be used against all of that. But this is certainly not the big guns that we have, because these are small targets and we'll take out the big guns when we need to. But yes, this is AD. This is our air defense.
Well, increased shelling once again heard from Samba sector, from Jammu. We are also hearing this coming in from Faridkot, Pathankot. Coming across to you, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, what are you hearing? Not as many as yesterday. Maybe it's a little bit of a break, but do you think we're going to see a repeat of what happened last night in terms of the Pakistan offensive?
So, Navika, the defense PRO's briefing today is very instructive on this. Yesterday of the almost 300 drones that they fired, only 1% had warheads. The rest were literally cheap rubbish, which were being sent over to trap our high-end air defenses. It's also very important to note that the PRO made very clear we only used low-end air defenses. We were literally only using guns and things to shoot them down and cheaper missiles to shoot them down. Because it seems quite clear now what the Pakistanis are trying to do is they're trying to send all these drones, really cheap drones, over in order to exhaust our supply of anti-aircraft missiles. And we're not falling for that trap. So I actually expect them to be hitting us hard, at least trying to hit us hard. And they're not going to be able to do it as long as we haven't used our Akash or our Spider or our S-400s and things like that. So, we need to be careful about this. The Pakistanis aren't stupid. I mean, they're not too stupid at any rate. They've been planning this for quite a bit. But it's also very important to understand how many, though these drones are cheap, how many can they afford? I think all our viewers must have seen the news report on how the Pakistani rupee has not only stabilized, it has soared. Do you know at what cost it has come to the economy of Pakistan? They have literally barred non-essential imports. They have barred the purchase of gold. They have barred any trade from happening. They've barred the purchase of dollars within Pakistan. How can an economy survive like this? Do you think an economy like this can keep affording even cheap drones? Even those cheap Chinese drones are about $30,000-$40,000 a pop. Do you think they can afford to keep sending them in the numbers that they're sending? So, the numbers don't add up for Pakistan. The economics don't add up for Pakistan. They're already in economic panic.
Yeah, they're at the IMF right now, where India has expressed its reservations on any facilities being given to Pakistan. But yes, they seem to be having a good Diwali, sending all these drones across and all these drones being shot down, yet they're sending some more. But our sources, our forces are also shielding Indians like impenetrable wall. Pakistani army has pushed even children into the war front. In another admission, the Pakistan defense minister said that madrasa students are our second line of defense. Now, this is officially being stated. Even students at madrasas confirmed that they knew that there were terror training grounds here and they were probably present there. First, let's listen in to this shocking admission. Well, shocking for the rest of the world, but blasé for Pakistan. So they knew that there could be an attack. The madrasas are their training grounds, all these admissions, but more visuals coming in from Aknoor, Jammu. A blast has been heard. The fun and games that Pakistan thinks nobody is watching and they might get a success. Well, that's what's carrying on over here with impunity. Pakistan, is it really making a fool of itself on the world stage, Mr. Parthasarthy? Or do you think all of this is so well known? At the IMF, India is talking about the funding of IMF to Pakistan, which goes into funding of terror. And yet, the world is just sitting by and watching?
Well, look at it from the point of view of the outside world. Pakistan has a failing economy. But apart from the 5 nuclear powers, thanks to China, it is a nuclear weapons power. That's what, in the Islamic world, gives it a certain amounts of clout. But it is totally in shambles politically, totally in shambles economically. And they are led, I think, Shahbaz Bhutto's, the Bhutto family, the Nawaz Sharif family, pretty good administrators, but the army chief is not letting them do it. So my point is, the services are doing their job in India, doing it thoroughly, which we should be proud about. They are going to be going down the tubes, and let us not get too excited or in a hurry. I caution on that, because, haste leads to waste. We should leave it to the armed forces to decide when they act and where they act, and leave it to diplomats like me who are now in service to ensure that the Americans and our neighbors stay away. You are not going to be able to prevent China from staying there. China is going to stay there. Pakistan is a Chinese instrument for low-cost containment of India. This is a larger geopolitical setup. And we what we have said in Pakistan is, is nothing new. I've lived there for 5.5 years. The fact, however, is, don't forget, within Pakistan also, outside Punjab, the Punjabis, outside Punjab, the
Balochis,
the Balochis
Pashtuns,
and the others,
the Sindhis, everybody is up in arms against them.
So let everybody in whatever he is doing go about doing his work. Let's not get too excited about this, because let's not forget that it is also a power capable of causing harm if it goes crazy, which it may not.
That's almost as saying that it's not crazy right now. R.K. Bhadoria, how do you look at Pakistan? And how do you compare the action yesterday versus the action today? Yesterday, 400 drones. Today, we're hearing news, not as many so far. How do you think this is going to pan out?
No, I would say they are climbing the ladder of irrational behavior towards craziness further up. But since you mentioned drones, I think we should keep in mind that this is just a build-up, stepwise build-up, and certainly he would have some plan of a larger attack meshed in between, which I just mentioned. And that's what we really need to be working towards. And I'm sure our services are well aware, and they are taking precautions, because wherever they have attacked the AD setup, it is in relation to the situation, although limited, but very, very accurate.
So you don't believe they are de-escalating right now?
No, not at all. These are just steps towards their larger game plan of at least putting one large attack. They would want to inflict a successful damage on some of the targets that they choose, and that will be their, I think, biggest mistake. Because if that happens, firstly, our defenses are all prepared. I'm sure most of that such attempt would be foiled. But wherever they succeed, the response would be very, very firm from our side. So I think he's
you're saying there is no de-escalation. Anand Ranganathan, there are cries already coming from different parts of India for a de-escalation. Militarily, the assessment is they're not de-escalating at all. They're planning for a big hit. So why are we hearing these sounds of de-escalation and all those bleeding hearts that are coming out right now?
Thank you, Navika, for having this discussion. Because as I was saying, Gaddar sirf sarhad ke us par hi nahi hai. Gidar sirf sarhad ke us par hi nahi hai. This de-escalate toolkit being employed by conniving two-faced hypocrites is well beyond measure. The same folks howling stop the war and clamoring for de-escalation when India is attacking the terrorist nation Pakistan were justifying and cheering when terrorist nation Iran was attacking Israel. The same folks who were a week ago prodding Modi to destroy Pakistan, mocking him, are now asking him to stop the war on Pakistan. How on earth can they even think of de-escalation? Are they in command? What are their parameters for it? Have we destroyed all terror hubs in Pakistan? Have we crippled its terror machinery? Have we achieved our objectives? How do these people live with so much hate and poison against India? Honestly, you can only fight the Pakistans you can see. And that is why I say, Pakistan, Navika, is not just a nation. It is a state of mind, and it is present as much in India as it is in Pakistan. Navika, a war armed with moral rectitude, backed with the yearning to deliver justice, is a war that is humanity's obligation. At times, peace and justice are not possible without war. In fact, peace is born in the crucible of Dharma Yudh. What, after all, is Bhagavad Gita all about? As Lord Krishna said, avoiding a just war out of fear or misplaced compassion allows evil to prepare. Navika, 30 years ago, the two-time Nobel laureate and my hero Fred Sanger came to inaugurate our biochemistry department building named after him. In the student interaction that followed, I asked him about him being a conscientious objector during World War II. You know what Sanger said? He said, not a single day passes by when he doesn't regret not fighting the just war against Hitler. Because when he met the famous chemist and writer Primo Levi, who was interned at Auschwitz, he couldn't meet his eye. Navika, tell me, what did the Auschwitz survivor say to those howling, stop the war? What did the Korean comfort woman mumble to those crying ceasefire? What did the Pahalgam widow tell those shrieking de-escalate? Wish Hitler had gassed your son. Wish Tojo had forced you into prostitution. Wish Munir had killed your husband. Their imagined retorts born of unimaginable pain underscore Navika brutal truth. To not end evil is to allow perpetrators to continue their reign of terror.
Absolutely,
to not end evil is to let its roots burrow deeper, Navika, just 30 seconds, into the soul of humanity. To not end evil is to support it. So you, who cries de-escalate, are you not ashamed to stand passive before the furnaces of Auschwitz? Are you unmoved by the smudged sindoor of the Pahalgam widow? You ask for swords to be lifted, and when they were, you demand they not fall on the chains that bind us to despair. You are not just complicit, you are coward.
Absolutely. Those who are talking about de-escalations, we are going across to this. Gaurav Arya, I want you to look at this. Look at the number of civilian aircrafts. Can we zoom out a bit, because the airspace of Pakistan is open? Can we zoom out a bit, because we've lost some of the crowd of civilian aircrafts right here, and this is where you see, instead of reducing in their airspace, they have put out more commercial flights, civilian flights out there. What does this show in terms of Pakistan's very, very deceptive strategy?
See, if you see what is happening here in Pakistan, and this is the international border, right? Now, what is happening is that if you look at the same photograph taken about 4 or 5 days ago, there wasn't a single aircraft in Pakistan, right? They have come up with all these planes now. They're allowing planes to fly, and that is exactly what they want to do. See, as I said, Hamas and Hezbollah.
All of these flights.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. This is Islamabad here. Look at these planes, Islamabad. And Islamabad, you know, how far is Rawalpindi from Islamabad? It's like 25 kilometers, sir, if I'm not mistaken. It's around that much, sir. So if you see that, you know, Rawalpindi has been bombed, right? Which means Islamabad is under threat. And that is the international airport.
So this is their Suraksha Kavach.
Yeah, human shields. Human shields is their AD.
Air Marshal Bhadoria?
Yeah, absolutely. They are trying to.
This is all they are doing.
And they're worried about S-400. And also, when they do it in conjunction with these drones, their attempt would be to sneak in some of these electronic, listening devices on some of these aircraft that are there, and try to keep them safe by hanging on to some civil airliner. So these are the kind of, I think, activities that they are attempting. Totally wrong, absolutely unethical. We would never do it. Well, and if they would to continue to resort to that, we would work out a way.
Absolutely. And let's now go across to the fake propaganda that Pakistan continues to peddle. It talks about the holy cities that India is trying to attack. Nankana Sahib. They brought up that Nankana Sahib. If you remember, Pahalgam was a profiling that was religious. They want to create absolutely communal fault lines in India. And let's first listen in to Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri, who spoke about this today, and then we'll come back to what they want to do with these fault lines.
Instead of owning up to these attacks, Pakistan made the preposterous and outrageous claim that it was the Indian Armed Forces and the Indian Air Force that was targeting cities like Amritsar and trying to put the blame on Pakistan. This disinformation that is coming from Pakistan about India targeting the Nankana Sahib Gurdwara through a drone attack. This is again yet another blatant lie. Pakistan is again trying desperately to impart a communal hue to the situation with an intention to create discord.
Abhijit Iyer Mitra, first Amritsar on target, Harmandir Sahib, many people thought. They've already destroyed Gurdwara in the Poonch area. Harmandir Sahib on target, Jammu being targeted again and again between yesterday and today. The Vaishno Devi temple, I would reckon, is in Jammu. And then talk about this Nankana Sahib. Is this not the communal blueprint in terms of the fault lines that Pakistan is attempting to create in India after Pahalgam?
You know, Navika, yesterday when, the briefing was given to us, when they said Harmandir Sahib, I thought it was absolute nonsense. Now, you know, with the government, you know, the right hand never knows what the left hand does. I called up my friend who's an AD commander in Amritsar, and he told me, yes, the intercept routes, at least of the rockets that they used, was very much Harmandir Sahib. The terminal trajectory prediction predicted it landing at Harmandir Sahib. Several of the drones were also headed towards Harmandir Sahib. With drones, of course, you can't predict because, you know, they can maneuver and things like that. But he also confirmed. Then I called up friends in the agencies, and they said they had picked up chatter, where Pakistanis had basically contacted a lot of these Khalistani and activists in Canada, UK, and things like that. So it is not in the realm of doubt anymore. They were actively planning on starting riots. They wanted to use this to claim that we had intentionally bombed Harmandir Sahib. They are activating everything. Now, what is worrying Navika in all of this is that the SGPC, the Shiromani Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee, is amplifying Pakistani talking points. They seem to be on the same WhatsApp group with the ISI and these Khalistani activists. How are we allowing all of this to happen?
Well, big question there. But I also want to say, along with their Chinese missiles, they used snipers to kill Indians in Poonch. On your screens is Nargis Begum, a 40-year-old local of Uri who was killed by a sniper attack while she was just fleeing to safety with her family. Even Times Now's crew faced shelling by Pakistan in the Uri region. Our reporter Sahil Sohail and his crew managed to escape with their lives. You can see the shots of the car on your screens, and those shots clearly show you the bullets that struck there. And these bullets, when collected, we took a look at them. Look at those bullets there. Gaurav Arya, sniper bullets being used in the LOC firing. Is this normal?
Snipers are used all the time, and except when there is a ceasefire, and there was a ceasefire for a long time. But yeah, Pakistanis.
But targeting civilians directly.
Oh yes, Pakistanis do that all the time. When we fire snipers, we fire at military targets because those are the instructions, and many of us carry those instructions in our pockets. Don't harm livestock. Don't harm civilians. Women, children, and the elderly are an absolute no-go area. In fact, if the Indian Army was found even in hinterland operations doing anything against civilians, there would be hell to pay by the army. I mean, they would hold people to account. But in Pakistan, they are deliberately targeting civilians. One sniper bullet from 1 kilometer away comes, hits a woman who's absolutely unsuspecting. She's going about her daily chores, and suddenly you have one sniper bullet coming and killing her. This is what the Pakistanis do all the time. They shell civilian areas. Forget about a sniper. I mean, an artillery shell is an area weapon.
Well, absolutely. And Pakistan also targeted a convent school. And this was stated in the official briefing today, where 2 children lost their lives, and in these schools, these were convent Christian missionary schools. Now, once again, I come back to you, Anand Ranganathan. Missionary schools, gurdwaras, is this a blueprint that Pakistan has carefully worked on?
To be made very clear. Perhaps to a lot of Indians, but certainly to the rest of the world. You know, yesterday there was a lot of talk about Pakistan establishment is supporting terrorism. They are supporting terrorists. Well, by definition, if you support a terrorist, you might be a terror apologist, but you're not a terrorist. I disagree. The entire nation, the establishment is terrorists. You don't support a terrorist, they are terrorists. So we have to think, we have to realign the way we look at Pakistanis. You look at in the last 1 hour, what have we seen? These guys are putting snipers at innocent civilians. These guys are flying their civilian aircraft just on the pretext that India might actually, in the intention of aiming military targets, might hit a civilian aircraft. They are barbarians. They are terrorists. They are not supporting terrorists, please.
Well, absolutely. And now we are also going to look at the snakes in Pakistan's backyard. Quad of terror that they have. They have Tehreek-e-Taliban on one side, the TTP, which is going after them, Major Gaurav Arya. Then you have the Balochistan Liberation Army, which is not backing off anytime soon. Yes. You have also, the TTP in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area has emerged as Pakistan's most lethal insurgent group. The BLA has escalated its insurgencies, targeting state infrastructure, military personnel, Chinese projects, all of them. And we saw yesterday how they blew up a military vehicle with 14 army men in that, and the BLA, of course, there. And then you have the Islamic State Khorasan, which is also. What are you looking at in Pakistan? Do we have to continue to fight this neighbor, or is it imploding from within?
So, the people in Pakistani Punjab are, I think, the best placed. They don't care what is happening in Balochistan. Now, there is a legitimate freedom struggle which is taking place in Balochistan, and that is what exactly the BLA is doing. Number two is what the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is the same as the Afghan Taliban. Inka bayat hai. They have given an oath of fealty and loyalty to the Afghan Taliban. They're two sides of the same coin, by the way. And the Afghan Taliban gives them enough covering fire. So that is number two. Number three, if you talk about ISIS and talk about Al-Qaeda in a splintered manner, but mostly ISIS, I mean, in the tribal areas of Pakistan, adjoining Pakistan along the Durand line, this is like the United Nations of terrorism. I mean, there are so many nationalities. They operate there. But the Pakistani Punjabis don't care, Navika, simply because nothing is happening in Punjab. See, when India hit them with missiles, and the missiles, they actually went and hit Bahawalpur and Muridke and all that. That was what was shocking. One of the television anchors I saw on Pakistani, somebody sent me a clip. And you know what this lady was saying? She was saying, doesn't India know we are a nuclear power? Kya Bharat ko ye nahi pata hai ki hum ek atomic quwwat hai? She could not believe that India could do something in Punjab. It was beyond her imagination. Doesn't India know that we are a nuclear power? Because that is what she's been told from day one, that nobody will do anything and you can, under the shadow of a nuclear weapon, actually conduct terrorism the way you like inside India.
Absolutely, and that's the way it goes. Mr. Parthasarthy, will Pakistan implode, or will we have to explode it before it implodes? Listen,
societies don't implode just out of the blue. There are this anger with Punjabi domination in Pakistan, and there is serious differences with the Baloch and with the Pashtuns. Now I will just leave one thought with you, कि हम दूध के धुले हुए नहीं हैं. We know these things, we know how to deal with it, but we don't talk about it. As you would find with the service chiefs, they pretty much know what they want to do. The Indian Army is doing it very well. And let me add one more thing. Pakistan has lost the glamour it had for the West. Its only supporter for weapons, including of the nuclear category, is China. Their economy is in a mess with a less than 2% growth after aid. So the Americans have told us to do precisely what we want, as the Pakistanis say. So it's very easy to pass judgment, but we're living in a complex world, and all I can say is whether it's the armed forces or the government or others, as a nation we are handling with it fine. Let's not get excited, overexcited, or worry about what Pakistan can do. We can manage them. We have managed them in the past, and we'll manage them none. Now, I was there during Kargil. They thought that they had got it. Well,
absolutely. And when Daniel Pearl's father today just tweeting, saying, I wish these dignitaries, and he's put out a picture there. He says, I wish these dignitaries, talking about all the army men standing at the funeral service of a terrorist who was killed in the terror strikes by India. He's asking the question, what exactly are you mourning? What role models do you wish your children to revere? What have you learnt from this man? That is the question being asked by Daniel Pearl's father. and the retribution came from India, which destroyed in its fight against terror these terror camps. And look at the priorities of Pakistan. Look at the priorities that we have here in India. Prime Minister holding a meeting earlier this evening with the 3 service chiefs in their combat uniforms, also present Raksha Mantri, also present with them the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, the CDS, each one of them playing a role in meticulously planning and strategizing India's fight back, India's badla, India's complete revenge for Pahalgam. And India knows which way it is going. A few toy drones, Turkish or Chinese, a few missiles that break in the middle, don't have warheads, and are like puss patakas that you've kept from last Diwali till the next year. Well, that is not going to deter India's resolve to fight terror. That is exactly what India is doing, and that is exactly the road we are going to take. Pakistan, it's your survival that is a question. India will keep marching on. We leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists. Thank you, viewers, for joining me on the News Hour. Short break, more news on the other side.